Welcome to our channel. Today we have something truly chilling for you. We're about to delve into the dark side of friendship, where trust is broken, secrets are revealed, and the line between loyalty and betrayal blurs into a terrifying nightmare. These are not just any horror stories. These are true tales of friendship gone terrifyingly wrong, leaving behind scars deeper than any knife could carve. So turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare to be scared. Picture this. The year is 1997. Three friends, Sarah, Emily, and Jessica, are huddled in Sarah's living room for a sleepover. The night unfolds like any other, stories, jokes, and junk food. But as the night deepens, the mood shifts. A chill creeps into the air, sending goosebumps crawling up their arms. The laughter dies down, replaced by an unsettling quiet. Jessica, her eyes wide and unblinking, breaks the silence.
Have you ever heard of the Blackwood Manor?
She whispers, her voice barely audible over the sudden howling wind outside. The other two girls shake their heads, their gazes drawn to Jessica's uncharacteristically serious demeanor. Jessica leans in and begins to weave a tale of a haunted manor that stood on the outskirts of their town.
A place shrouded in darkness, whispered to be the final resting place of a family brutally murdered by their eldest son. Legend has it that the son, driven mad by an unknown force, buried his family alive within the manor's walls, their tormented souls forever trapped within its decaying timbers.
The girls listen, captivated and terrified, as Jessica describes the manor's eerie presence. But what chills them to the bone is Jessica's next confession. She'd been there. Just a week ago, she and a group of older kids dared to step past the rusted gates and into the manor's decaying embrace. Emily and Sarah exchange uneasy glances. They knew Jessica had a penchant for exaggeration, but something about her demeanor this time told them this story was different. Jessica continues her story, describing the oppressive atmosphere of the manor.
We heard blood-curdling screams echoing through the empty halls, and saw a shadowy figure lurking at the end of a cobweb-draped corridor.
As she speaks, a floorboard creaks upstairs. The girls freeze, their eyes darting towards the sound. Sarah, trying to mask her fear, dismisses the sound as an old house settling. Jessica, ignoring the interruption, describes the climax of their terrifying adventure. The moment they realized they weren't alone.
As we stood in the manor's dilapidated ballroom, the air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. A cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing our flashlights and plunging us into absolute darkness. It was then that we felt it, a cold, ethereal hand brush against our skin.
Panic surged through the group. They stumbled over each other in their desperate attempt to escape the suffocating darkness. Jessica finishes her story, her eyes wide and haunted. The room is silent, the only sound the frantic beating of three terrified hearts. Suddenly, Jessica gasps, her eyes widening in horror.
Look, behind you!
She scrambles back from the circle, her gaze fixed on something behind Sarah and Emily. Standing in the doorway, bathed in the pale moonlight, is the shadowy figure of a young man. The girls scream, scrambling back in terror. The figure takes a step towards them, its eyes never leaving their faces. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanishes, leaving the girls trembling in the wake of its chilling presence. The sleepover that started with laughter ended in a night of terror they would never forget. The sun beat down on the dusty trail, baking the earth with the unforgiving heat of a late summer afternoon. Jake and Ben, backpacks slung over their shoulders, trudged through the dense woodland, their usual carefree banter replaced by a heavy silence. Their friendship, once as sturdy as the ancient oaks that lined the path, had become strained, tangled in a web of unspoken resentment and simmering jealousy. It had all started with a girl, as these things often do. Both boys had fallen for her, their friendship the first casualty in the ensuing war for her affection. They reached a fork in the path, marked by a weathered signpost pointing in two diverging directions.
We should head left. The trail's easier that way.
Jake said, wiping sweat from his brow. But Ben, his jaw clenched, shook his head.
No, we're taking the right path. It's faster.
Jake frowned, sensing an argument brewing. He knew the right path. It was treacherous, known to locals as the Devil's Backbone.
Ben, don't be stupid. The Devil's Backbone is dangerous. It's getting late, and we don't know the terrain.
But Ben, consumed by a darkness Jake couldn't comprehend, refused to budge.
I said we're going this way.
He snarled, his eyes flashing with a malice that sent a chill down Jake's spine. And so they ventured down the right path. The trail lived up to its name, twisting and turning through dense undergrowth. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Jake stumbled, his ankle twisting beneath him. A sharp crack echoed through the stillness, followed by Jake's cry of pain. He lay there, writhing in agony, his ankle swelling rapidly. Panic welled up inside him. He was hurt, alone, and at the mercy of the very person he no longer recognized. Ben stood over him, his face a mask of conflicting emotions. For a moment, Jake saw a flicker of concern in his friend's eyes, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared.
Don't leave me here, Ben.
Jake pleaded, his voice hoarse with pain and fear. But Ben just stared down at him, his expression unreadable in the fading light.
You wanted her, right? You always get what you want.
And with that, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the deepening shadows, leaving Jake stranded and alone in the heart of the woods. As darkness enveloped him, the sounds of the forest came alive. Every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig, amplified in his terror. The pain in his ankle throbbed in time with the frantic beating of his heart. He tried to crawl, dragging his injured leg behind him, but every movement sent waves of excruciating pain shooting through his body. He cried out for help, his voice raw and desperate, but the only response was the mocking echo of his own despair. Hours crawled by, each one an eternity. The forest came alive with nocturnal creatures, their eyes glowing like embers in the darkness. Panic turned to despair, a cold, gnawing fear that settled deep in his bones. He was alone, abandoned, left to die in the unforgiving embrace of the woods. Just when his hope began to dwindle, he saw it, a faint light flickering in the distance, like a beacon of salvation in the sea of darkness. He gathered the last vestiges of his strength and cried out, his voice a raspy whisper that carried on the night air. The light wavered, coming closer, and Jake saw the silhouette of a figure approaching. It was a park ranger, drawn by his cries for help. As the ranger helped him to his feet, Jake couldn't help but ask about Ben, even though a part of him already knew the answer.
There's no one else out here, son. You were lucky we found you when we did. Another hour and...
He didn't need to finish the sentence. As Jake was helped to safety, the chilling realization dawned on him. Ben never intended to come back. He had been left there, at the mercy of the wilderness, betrayed by the person he once considered his closest friend. The forest had revealed the true nature of their friendship, a bond shattered by jealousy and betrayal. Jake's physical wounds would heal, but the emotional scars of that day would linger, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk within even the closest of friends. Sometimes, the most terrifying monsters are the ones we trust the most. And in the end, Jake learned a harsh lesson. Not all friendships are meant to last, and some can lead you down a path of no return. Chapter 3. The Possessed Best Friend. The air in Lisa's room crackled with an unnerving energy. Her gaze darted nervously towards her best friend Megan, who sat perched on the edge of the bed, her eyes fixed on a point beyond the wall. Gone was the bubbly girl Lisa had shared secrets with. In her place sat a stranger, shrouded in an unsettling stillness. It started subtly, a forgotten word, a missed joke, a vacant look. At first, Lisa chalked it up to stress. But as the days morphed into weeks, the subtle shifts in Megan's behavior grew into something far more sinister. Megan's once vibrant eyes now burned with an unnatural intensity, their depths holding a chilling emptiness. One evening, while studying, Lisa noticed a strange inscription etched onto Megan's arm. It wasn't a whimsical doodle, but a series of cryptic symbols inked in a deep, unsettling shade of crimson.
Meg, what is that? Lisa asked, her voice trembling.
Megan slowly turned her head, her eyes now devoid of their usual warmth, boring into Lisa.
It's a language, Megan replied, her voice flat. A language of power. It's how I communicate with them. Communicate with who? Lisa whispered.
A slow, chilling smile spread across Megan's face.
With the ones who whisper to me in the shadows, she hissed. The ones who promised me power beyond your wildest dreams.
Terror gripped Lisa's heart. This wasn't her Megan. Something dark had sunk its claws into her friend's soul. Days turned into a blurry nightmare. Megan's behavior became increasingly erratic, marked by violent outbursts and an insatiable thirst for the occult. One night, driven by a desperate need to save her friend, Lisa confided in her grandmother, a woman known for her quiet wisdom and deep connection to the spiritual realm. Under her grandmother's guidance, Lisa learned of ancient rituals, of protective charms, and of the delicate balance between the world she knew and the unseen forces that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. The ritual was ancient, passed down through generations of women in Lisa's family. The air crackled with unseen energy as Lisa, guided by her grandmother's steady hand, performed the intricate steps. As the final words of the ritual echoed through the room, a blinding light erupted from Megan, throwing Lisa backwards. A gut-wrenching scream tore through the stillness. Then, as quickly as it began, it was over. The light faded, leaving behind the scent of ozone and a lingering sense of peace. Megan lay on the floor, her body racked with tremors. Lisa rushed to her friend's side, her heart pounding. As Megan's eyes slowly fluttered open, Lisa saw a glimmer of recognition, a flicker of the friend she thought she'd lost forever. The road to recovery was long and arduous, marked by therapy sessions and the lingering fear that the darkness might one day return. But through it all, Lisa never wavered in her support, her love for her friend unwavering. In the end, their friendship emerged stronger, a testament to the enduring power of true friendship in the face of unimaginable horror. Sometimes, the bonds we share can be the light that guides us through the darkest of times. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these terrifying tales, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. We delve into the darkest corners of the human experience, exploring the raw, unfiltered side of life, where fear reigns and nightmares become reality. And remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we call friends.